can come down here, Jasper. Just be quiet.
Hi, can I have the name for Leo N?
Are you speaking with me? Oh,
The email address, the person that joined in with email address.
Yeah,
you
this
talking-
is Nathan McLeod. I'm trying to figure out how to change my name, and I don't know how.
Hello, everybody. Are we ready to go?
eScribe is ready.
Yes, and this is a citizen. I was just wondering if it's possible to join the Zoom by video online or just by the phone.
It's just the phone for this meeting.
Okay, thank you. This is Stephen Polito. I'm going to mute myself.
Tell me you guys heard all that.
No, I saw you talking, Hans. I thought you were talking to someone in your room.
I was unmuting using the space bar, and apparently when I switch over to the script, that stops working. So anyway, here we go with that whole script again. Welcome to the Board of Adjustments meeting. All the meeting body members are attending from a remote location. We are holding this meeting virtually, so we'll be doing public comment a little differently than usual via a live call-in phone line, just like calling into a radio show or making a pledge during a telethon. I'll call for general public comment, and on that item, I will take comments on items that are on the agenda and items that aren't on the agenda. I will also open the public comment phone lines on each agenda item. Each time we call for public comment, we'll put the numbers on the screen and the meeting ID and give some time for you to go to your phones and call in, but you may want to write them down. When you call in, you'll be placed into a waiting room, and I will take calls in the order they come in. When I call on you, please mute your TV or computer, or there will be an echo. Tell us your name and your comment. Please be aware that there is a delay of about 50 seconds from what you're hearing at home and the actual meeting, so it's okay to begin speaking right away when I call on you. I'll be observing a speaking limit of 3 minutes so we can hear from everyone. Let's get started. I'd like to call the meeting of the Board of Adjustments to order. Can I have a roll call of the members to see who was present? You heard it that time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sandy Mitchell,
I am here.
Patrick Bradgam,
Here.
Hans Hoffman,
Here.
Lance Koch is absent, John Newman, absent, James Sage, absent, Caitlin Hepburn,
I'm here.
Don Briggs.
Here.
With our 2 alternates, we have quorum.
All right. We didn't expect to have quorum, so moving right into approval of the agenda from the last meeting.
I read the minutes. I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from last month.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye. Is that sufficient for you guys to get a count? I think that sounded unanimous to me.
We're good.
Great. We will now open the floor to public comment. Are we going to put the phone line up on the screen? Is the phone line up?
I don't see it.
yeah, it seemed to me last time I had to do something to bring them in.
We're working on it.
Oh, okay. I'll be patient.
Hans, can you just read the numbers out loud, please? Again?
I'm not sure which numbers you're referring to.
The call-in number from your script.
Ah, I see. All right, we're on public comment. If you'd like to comment on this item, I'm going to open the phone lines and we'll take comment after the staff report. Our meeting admin will put the call and numbers on the screen now, and I'll read some of them for folks in our audience with vision difficulties. They are 1-267-831-0333 and 1-888-475-4499. And the meeting ID is 960-049-3694. We'll answer calls in the order received. I will call on you by your phone number. Please be sure to mute your TV or computer. Tell us your name, what's on your mind. I'll be observing a speaking limit of 3 minutes so we can hear from everyone. Be sure to mute your TV or computer when you're speaking to avoid an echo.
Hello, this is Stephen in Polito. I'm already on the line, and when it's appropriate, I'd like to speak with regards to the exception to setbacks for the bathroom enclosure at Westside Park.
We're doing public comment at this time. We'll move on to that agenda item next.
Okay, so
this is
I'll speak.
This is public comment on non-agenda items.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I am not clear which of these phone numbers are call-ins for agenda items. I have a phone number 406-529-4945.
Yes, that's Maria Chesnut, and I am calling in for public comment.
Okay, is this regarding the agenda
On the
item
agenda
or a
item.
non-agenda item?
On the agenda item.
Okay, so then I'll get back to you. And the other number was 406-396-0523.
And that's Stephen Polito for comment on the agenda
On the
item.
agenda item. Okay, so it doesn't appear that we have any non-agenda public comment. So moving on to the first agenda item. Let's see, this is the public forum for, oh, are there any staff announcements?
No announcements, but because I haven't been to Board of Adjustment before, I can introduce myself. I'm Cassie Trepard, and I'm an Associate Planner at Development Services.
All right. So now moving on to the public hearing. The lone agenda item is a public forum for City Parks and Recreation regarding the construction of new bathroom enclosures within the front setbacks of
And
at Rose Park and West Side Park. Cassie Trepard, is that who is commenting or presenting?
yep, that's correct. And you can all see the PowerPoint, right?
Correct, I can.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so like I said, I'm Cassie Trepard with Development Services. City of Missoula Parks and Recreation are proposing to construct new bathroom enclosures at Rose Park and West Side Park. By bathroom enclosures, I'm referring to a small structure made to ground a portalette, which is a porta potty. Parks and Rec are proposing to place the structures within the 20-foot front setback of each park. This meeting will be held as a public forum to take public comment. The Board of Adjustment will not be voting on this item. Public agencies may develop land contrary to zoning code without a vote by the Board of Adjustment, but a public forum must be held. So there will be one new bathroom located at Rose Park. Rose Park has frontage on Brook Street, Mount Avenue, East Franklin Street, and Blaine Street. And although it is a park, Rose Park is zoned RT 2.7 residential 2 unit. The properties to the northwest, west, and south are zoned R 5.4 residential. There is one property to the east zoned RM1-35 residential multi-dwelling. The bathroom will be placed adjacent to Blaine Street on or near the property line. This is within the 20-foot front setback required by Title 20 zoning code. Rose Park is located on a through parcel, and through parcels have 2 front setbacks and 2 street side setbacks. And the Blaine Street side was determined to be a front setback based on the surrounding block patterns, which you can kind of see if they were to have an alley on this block where the front and the rear would be. And there will be one new bathroom located at West Side Park, which is addressed 1150 Sherwood Street. West Side Park shares a parcel with Lowell Elementary School, which is located on the west side of the parcel. The parcel has frontage on Sherwood Street, Shakespeare Street, Phillips Street, and Scott Street. West Side Park is zoned RM1-45 residential multi-dwelling. The parcel is mostly surrounded by the RT 2.7 residential 2-unit zoning district. The parcels to the southeast of the West Side Park are zoned RM1-35 residential multi-dwelling. The bathroom will be placed adjacent to Phillips Street on or near the property line. This bathroom is also within the 20-foot front setback. And just like Rose Park, West Side Park is located on a through parcel, which has 2 front setbacks and 2 street side setbacks. Here's a rendering of the structure that will be built at each park. The bathroom structure at Rose Park will not have the small wall you see sticking out of the left side of the enclosure. And color may vary slightly, but this will be essentially what it'll look like. And here you'll see a photo of a similar structure that was installed in another part of town. Okay. The Parks and Recreation would like to place the bathrooms within the 20-foot front setbacks to follow the crime prevention through environmental design principles, which are incorporated into the Missoula Parks and Recreation Design Manual. According to the CPTED principles, areas that are well maintained are less inviting to criminal behavior. The portalettes are serviced by trucks, and in order to be properly serviced and maintained, the bathrooms need to be located as close to the street as possible. And this is a major reason why the bathrooms will be located in the front setback. Parks and Recreation has found that portalettes placed within enclosures are less likely to be vandalized or damaged because they have a more permanent appearance. And the location of the bathrooms allows for natural surveillance because they're in view of the park, the public street, and adjacent properties. Placing the bathrooms in a highly visible location allows the public to passively monitor activity happening around the bathroom. And this makes people less likely to use them for suspicious activity because they are likely to be seen by neighbors and people around them. And then when an agency intends to develop or use land contrary to the zoning regulations, the Board of Adjustment shall hold the public hearing as a public forum and shall have no power to deny or condition the proposed use, but shall act only to allow a public forum for comment on the proposed use. Thank you. Nathan McLeod from Parks and Rec is here to help answer any questions or comments people may have as well.
Thank you. To the callers, I apologize. I did not see what order that you called in, so I'm just gonna go by the way they show up on my screen. So calling on 529-4945. You can go ahead and start speaking now.
Great. This is Maria Chestnut, and I live at 730 Blaine Street. So really just across the street from where the bathroom will be proposed. So I just want to say that I oppose the porta potty and intruding into the setback. People traditionally don't spend large lengths of time at this park, and even ceremonies are very short. I was actually been here for quite a while and was part of this conversation over 10 years ago when they first proposed a bathroom in the park, and have not obviously put one in, but the same reasons still apply. I do want to say that the Parks Department of our city is amazing. They enhance our city greatly, and we use them often for not just the parks, but the programs. But I am concerned that the bathroom could potentially not be cleaned and sanitation removed as frequently as needs to when I see vault toilets in other parks in kind of the non-play areas of Missoula, for instance, Silver Park. And also, we do have some criminal behavior already. My neighbor mentioned to me that he found several needles, drug needles in the gutter, and this is actually not uncommon around especially the Vietnam Memorial area. So I would request that you just consider asking ceremonies that would like one to rent a porta potty as they would need it.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Maria. Hey, this is Nathan McLeod from Parks and Rec. Can I just respond really quick? Can you guys all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thanks so much for your comments. I really appreciate you being engaged. I think that's really important. One thing that we have found through our various public surveys we've done is that there's the major barriers, two things that have tied in our surveys for being barriers to people using parks. And one is dogs off leash, and the other one is actually lack of restroom facilities in the parks. And we have heard in this particular park from a number of veterans that come to see the memorials that a lot of them are elderly folks, and they don't necessarily have the ability to hold their bladders as long as younger people do. And so having a bathroom in this particular park is really important to those people. And so we're actually responding to requests from the public. That's why we're putting this in now. And it's also part of a full ADA project to try to provide more accessibility to the World War II Memorial and the Rose Gardens. So just so you know, that's kind of why we're doing this, is just to provide better accessibility to a sector of the population that doesn't always get the attention that maybe they deserve.
Yeah, and I'm obviously looking at it from a different perspective than they would be looking at it. So I just want to say that perspective as well. For someone that will have to see and witness it and be, have it there all the time.
Yeah, I understand. And if you do, they do get service regularly. Obviously, sometimes things do happen and we can't necessarily get to it immediately, or we don't notice that something had happened. If you notice something, please call us and let us know, and we'll get someone out to service it ASAP.
Okay, thank you. That was my comment. Thank you, Nathan.
You're welcome.
Hans, I think you might be muted again.
Hi. Moving on to the second caller. Thank you, first caller. Moving on to the second caller, and that is phone number 3960523.
Hello, thank you for your time. And I echo the sentiments of the first comment, both in opposition and in gratitude for the Missoula Parks and Recreation Department. And I'm Stephen Polito, and I'm here with my wife, Kirsten Polito. And we are homeowners at 1120 Phillips Street, directly across from the proposed portalet solution at Westside Park. And I'm calling in to voice my opposition to the exception to the setbacks for bathroom enclosure at Westside Park, in addition to my opposition to the porta potty in general. And I dropped off written comments right before the meeting, so I'll just read what I wrote. And as I said, we're the homeowners directly across from the park at 1120 Phillips Street. And I'm writing to you to express our opposition to the variance request. Simply put, myself and fellow residents I have talked with would prefer a bathroom solution with a more central to the park and more permanent in nature, as we feel that would be more in line with the current aesthetics of the park and preserve the existing character of our residential neighborhood. In addition to our general opposition of the variance, I have the following concerns. Portalets are temporary in nature, suitable for construction sites and newly designed parks while awaiting a more permanent structure. To utilize a portalet as a permanent solution for Westside Park, in my opinion, diminishes the park's character as a mature, widely used neighborhood park that city residents can be proud of. The proposed solution does not feel adequate. Rather, it feels like cutting corners, perhaps to address budgetary concerns. Second, the nature of a portalet itself and its requirement that it be curbside creates an eyesore for everyone in the neighborhood, and admittedly, particularly for ourselves who enjoy spending time on our front porch looking out at the park. Third point, with the splash deck and the school at Westside Park, the park sees considerable foot traffic year-round, and particularly in the hot summer months. While this has temporarily diminished due to the COVID-19 closures of the splash deck, I expect the level of activity to resume when the splash deck is reopened. If a bathroom is provided, it will be utilized, and I am concerned about the ability of one portalet to handle the amount of people who utilize the park. I am also concerned about the frequency with which a non-flush toilet will have to be serviced as well by a portalet vacuum truck, which will be an unwelcome presence in the neighborhood. Furthermore, during peak times, there's often very limited curbside parking, and traffic is already congested and backed up at the Phillips and Scott Street intersection. My fourth note is that, and perhaps this warrants a response, but my question is, why is it that Bonner Park, another residential park with a splash deck, has a well-maintained permanent restroom facility, and Westside Park's existing facilities have fallen into disrepair? It's my belief that the existing facilities in Westside Park should either be adequately maintained or replaced with something of a similar or enhanced nature in a similar location, i.e. central to the park. Silver Park, fifth point, Silver Park is another example I can think of that has multiple well-designed, well-maintained restroom facilities that could be used as a reference point. Additionally, I wonder, are there any other residential parks in Missoula that have placed a public bathroom directly across from residential properties? In particular, are there any portalets permanently stationed across from family homes. I really don't see why Westside Park should be the guinea pig in the city planning experiment. And I would again urge those in charge to consider the original park design, which included a more permanent and central restroom solution. And so thank you so much for your time. I think the city of Missoula and Missoula Parks and Recreation do an amazing job. I just don't think in this particular case, a porta potty on the edge of the park, in a residential neighborhood is an appropriate solution. Thank you for your time.
This is Nathan McLeod again. Thanks a lot, Stephen. I appreciate those comments. Obviously, you've put a lot of thought into it, and I think we appreciate that. I will say that both of these parks have gone through a pretty extensive public process in the design of them for the master plan. And so the location of the portalet at Westside Park was part of that master planning effort. At the time, we didn't receive pushback against the idea of a portalet. And in fact, we've received a lot of, over the years, a lot of positive comments about the use of portalets in parks, primarily because we have the ability to remove them if it becomes a problem. And so Westside Park, as you know, has had some issues with inappropriate behavior, especially recently. And so that was one of the guiding principles for why we're putting portalet enclosures in instead of full restroom facilities, because we have the ability, if something happens to them, we can take them out and put in a new one. Whereas if it's an actual full restroom facility, we're a little bit limited as to what we can do. The restrooms at Bonner Park I'm not sure when they were built. They were built a while ago. They're similar to the ones at Franklin. We do run into issues with vandalism in them, and they're difficult to clean and repair and expensive. And so that's really why we've gone with portalet enclosures throughout a lot of parks in Missoula. The only one I can think of that is directly across the street from residential single-family homes is Maryland Park, but there may be others. There are others that are close to the street that are close to multifamily homes. I'm trying to think of what else did I address all of your comments?
Nathan, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And just in regards to your comment, I just want to note on the public process, I did see the master plan online, and I did see where that was discussed. However, I would like to note that this is a very working class neighborhood, and I myself was not able to attend the meetings where that was discussed. However, I did see multiple notices over time in the park explaining plans for renovations of the playground and changes that might be coming. And I never once saw any notice of portalets or any mention of what would happen to the bathrooms. The first I've heard of this was when, as a homeowner of a single family home across from the park, I received the letter that was mandated because of the zoning issue. So in terms of the previous public process, I would just note that, I feel in some ways it was inadequate. And then in terms of removing the portalet, it is true, I suppose, that you can remove the entire portalet and then replace the entire portalet. But I'll also note that because of the splash deck, it is mandated, I believe by some sort of public health code, that there is a bathroom. And so we're not talking about removing it completely if there's some sort of recurring problem. We do need some sort of solution in place. And again, I just note that the portalet, that to me, that strikes me as a very temporary solution. And I would also note that in terms of, Rose Park and the veterans and the ADA, I can really appreciate that. And I applaud Missoula Parks and Recreation, but I would say to best honor them, then you would want to absolutely make sure that it's handicap accessible. And I think a permanent structure would be more respectful than a porta potty. And then in terms of the inappropriate activity in the park, and Bonner Park. If there's issues with Bonner Park, are there plans to remove those bathrooms and replace them with porta potties is my first question. And what is the inappropriate behavior that you're referencing at Westside Park? Thank you.
So with Bonner Park, we're not planning on replacing those restrooms. The reason that we're replacing the ones in Westside Park, which I'm sure you know, is they really need to be replaced. The building is from 1920s. It's not accessible. It doesn't meet ADA standards. Doesn't meet SEPTED standards. So, but with Bonner Park, they do. They're newer than that. And the inappropriate behavior that we have is graffiti, vandalism, breaking sinks. You know, people do all kinds of things. And when they can close themselves into a restroom that's big enough for them to do those things, they will do them. And portalets are much less desirable for someone to go into and to do inappropriate behavior. What various different, I mean, I can think of lots of different activities that I don't think we need to talk about necessarily, but things that could happen are less likely to happen in a portalet. And that's really why we have found that they're so successful in a park situation.
Thank you, Nathan. And I'll just note in response to that I have lived in San Francisco, and anything you can do in a regular bathroom, you can do in a portalet, either outside the portalet or directly inside the portalet, including locking yourself in, sleeping overnight, etc. And really, I think for any bathroom situation, it's up to the local community to provide a safe space. And if that's not working, then, in some cases, bathrooms need to be locked in off hours. But again, that would apply to any solution. And then going along with the Bonner Park bathrooms and the current Westside Park bathrooms, I have been to Bonner Park, and they do seem to be, the facilities are nice. And I live across from Westside Park, and I know that those facilities are in need of maintenance or repair or replacement. But I would just ask everyone involved, City Council, the Board of Planning, Missoula Parks and Recreation, why is it that Bonner Park has newer, well-maintained permanent facilities, and Westside Park facilities have fallen into disrepair in the first place, and the proposed solution is a porta potty? And, I think it's notable that I've talked to many residents, and they all oppose the porta potty, and some were renters, and they didn't even know that this was an issue because the mailing was sent to the property owners. Others are property owners, and they also were not, they didn't approve, but we're a very working class neighborhood. And, myself, I have a 4.5-month-old dealing with COVID. It was I just dropped off my comments 10 minutes before the meeting. It was a stretch for myself just to make this meeting. And I think it's notable that, there's only 2 public comments, one for each park. They're both in opposition, but only 2 people showed up, and only 1 person showed up from Westside Park. And I think if you were proposing to put a porta potty curbside at Bonner Park, I would just ask, I think more people might find the time to show up. And, and I just think it's interesting that the facilities at Bonner Park have been maintained. To me, that kind of speaks to a little bit of discrimination based on the neighborhood, and also perhaps based on the ability of the neighbors to have the free time to kind of marshal the efforts to, raise a fuss. So that's, and I guess my final question is, we don't need to go back and forth on this forever. I want to respect your time, but I appreciate if you would consider my comments on why Westside Park is being treated differently than Bonner Park. And then finally, since I have heard that this meeting, we're not voting on this, and the board doesn't have any say in the matter, I guess my final question is, what rights do citizens have at this point to appeal this measure, and what further action can be taken to express our concern beyond today, and to and try to change people's minds in fact, overturn this decision, because, you know, at this point, it sounds like it's just kind of in motion and going forward. And, you know, for me, this is the first I've heard of this.
I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe, Cassie, do you know, like, if he wants to take this beyond this meeting where?
I'm in Title 20 trying to look right now to see if there's any way to appeal the decision, but I'll keep reading on that. I don't have an answer for you right now. But
My
I will,
understanding, yeah, my understanding is that you have to go to district court. That's the next step.
yeah. I would think that's correct, because I don't see any language in Title 20 about how to handle this afterwards.
So does city council then not vote on it? This is Maria, sorry, public comment.
No, so for public forums, which are just for agencies, whether that be a different city department, the state, county, they just have to present through us to hold a public forum for comment, but it doesn't go to any vote by any board or council.
And then, Nathan, am I gauging this correctly, that while this is, you know, a forum for public comment, Parks and Recreation is simply moving forward with this? I mean, is there any kind of internal discussion that's going to be happening at Parks and Recreation further with regards to whether or not this is appropriate, or is this just kind of a one-sided, you know, time for public comment, but ultimately the decision has already been made?
I'm happy to bring it up with folks at Parks and Rec, and we can talk about it. The decision has been made for the most part. You know, I mentioned the public process that we had, that you said that you weren't able or didn't see, which is too bad. You know, we try to use those the master plan and the process around that master plan to gauge the neighborhood's desires for the proposed amenities. And it's hard when this is not the last hour, but later in the process to change things, just because we've been moving forward with the process. But like I said, I will bring it up tomorrow. I'll send a couple emails and just, you know, let everyone know that there's some concern with the porta potties, and just see where we're at. And I can, if I have your letter and I have your contact info, I can respond to you as well after we have that conversation.
Thank you, Nathan. You know, really, that's all I could ask for. And you know, I'm sorry that I wasn't aware and wasn't able to comment earlier. I can just, can I give you my phone? On my letter, it has my address, but can I just give you my email and phone number now, just so you have it?
That's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my email matches my name in the letter. It's Steven with a V, Steven, dot Pulido, which is P as in Paul, ULI, T as in Tom, O, at gmail.com. And my phone number, should you like to talk to me, is 406-396-0523. And then again, I just, you know, it's nothing personal. I kind of, when I got the zoning variance letter, I kind of realized that, you know, I was probably late to the game here. So I appreciate you listening. And then I would just, it's kind of closing remark, if this is something that does go forward ultimately, I don't know if any thought has gone into it, but it looked like the enclosure was 3-sided, and I would appreciate if the open side was not directly facing the street. I don't know if that's possible or not, but I'd just like to make that comment as well. You know, I'm trying to be open-minded about this and realize that there may be reasons for the porta potty, but, you know, I have to admit that as well, when I now, you know, bike and walk around town and see a porta potty, on a construction site, it doesn't, you know, doesn't make me feel great to think that I'm just going to be staring at one of those and the pump truck. You know, we plan on living here for a long time. So.
And
Thanks,
Stephen, can I
Stephen.
ask one? Did you email your comment about 5:30 today? Was that you?
I emailed my comment at 5:30 and I dropped off a paper copy at 5:50.
Okay, great. It was too early or too late to include in the report, but I'll also forward that to Nathan so that he has it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Stephen. The opening will be facing the park. And the whole point of putting them in the enclosure, aside from just reducing vandalism, is that the enclosures are nice structures. They're aesthetically pleasing. And so we're trying to make it look nicer. The other thing I just want to say is that we're working really hard to make Westside Park really, really awesome. We really want it to be one of the best playgrounds in the whole city. And so if you're comparing to Bonner Park, it's going to be better than Bonner Park.
Well, thank you very much. And I, you know, I'm biased, but in my opinion, it's already better. And we do love it here. And, you know, I coach for the Zootown Derailers program. And, you know, I couldn't be more impressed overall with the, you know, Missoula Parks and Recreation Department. So, you know, I had to share my opinion, but, you know, ultimately I'm grateful for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Wow, I just want to commend everyone for that civil interchange and the responsiveness of Parks and Rec, the callers for being well-reasoned and calm. That was just a great public comment. I don't see any other callers. So I believe that brings us to, is there any other business?
Well, I wanted to know the answer to a question that was brought up in the by another public comment, and that was, are the toilets going to be locked during the evening, or is there going to be an employee that comes and opens them and unlocks them every single day, or are they open all the time?
That depends. Some parks we do that and some parks we don't.
Okay.
So I would not be surprised if that has to happen at Westside Park. I'm not sure if that will be something that's required at Rose Park. It really just depends on how they're getting used and or abused.
Okay.
All right, if there is no other business, then I think we're ready to adjourn. Do a motion to adjourn? Do we need to go through that process?
Also move.
All
And I'll second.
right. I think that was not the correct process. Anyway, I think we're adjourned.
Okay. Sounds
Thank
good.
you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.